Now, here are a few tips that you, as a small business owner, can use to help keep your business safe from cybersecurity attacks. First, create a cybersecurity policy and update your handbook. That policy should include all the things that are on this slide, which I will talk about in just a moment. If you don't have a handbook, we can help you with that. And if you don't have a cybersecurity policy, we can help you with that too. Next, create a digital payment transaction policy. And that policy can include things like using two-factor authentication, making sure that your payment processor is a secure platform, you're using a single point of entry like a singular iPad or a laptop that does all of this, and you're minimizing the amount of data that you're keeping. Third, backups. Use the 3-2-1 backup rule, which is 3 complete copies, 2 of which are in 2 different media forms, and 1 of which is stored completely offsite. Next, minimize the data collection that you take. If you don't need that information to do business, don't collect it. Just remember, you have to safeguard that information, and if you don't need it, that's less work that you have to do. Finally, inventory your hardware and your software so that you know what happens if something is breached or if something is stolen. The next thing you can do is to train your employees. While we have this idea from TV and movies that hackers are working tirelessly to breach our passwords and get a backdoor into our data, and while that does happen, the reality is that they usually go after the employees because it's a much easier target. We don't train our employees on how to recognize things like phishing attacks, then they are more apt to fall for them. So, what is a phishing attack? A phishing attack is something that tries to get an employee to give sensitive data like financial information, employee information, or passwords. And that can be done in a variety of ways. We've provided some URLs for you to look out for some training to help you train your employees. The next step is to test the employees. We've trained them and we're hoping that they retain the information. So we need to test them periodically throughout the year to make sure that they are retaining the information and adhering to the policies that you've set into place. We've included a couple of URLs for you to be able to use for some free testing. Next, update both your passwords and your software on a regular basis. First, your passwords shouldn't just be passwords. They should be passphrases. And passphrases are like to be or not to be with various changes to the letters and the words. Please don't use this one as it's the most quoted sentence in the English language. Use something that you can remember and is unique to you. Change it on a regular basis. I would recommend quarterly, at the very least, every 6 months. Next, use two-factor authentication everywhere that it is allowed. Even though you might think you only really need it for sensitive sites like banking, I will guarantee you that even though we counsel against it, people use the same passwords for all of their sites. And so if they can easily get into an Instagram account, chances are the password's going to be the same or similar to something more sensitive. Next, use a password manager. I've listed a few here on the slide that you can use, and there's others out there. And next, make sure that you are updating your software on a regular basis. This patches security breaches. Don't just keep minimizing that little pop-up that comes up on your computer. Make sure that you do it as soon as you can. Finally, remind your employees in a variety of ways. We found some online posters that are free that you can download, and you can print them out and hang them up around the office, changing them out from time to time. That's a good reminder. We've also mentioned testing. That's another reminder. Just make sure that you are periodically checking in with your employees.